Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So I've had a couple of requests for this type of video. Hopefully it benefits some or all of you. And this video is to explain what I do in terms of how to level up characters effectively, and what I do with my time other than doing quests and another dungeons and boss beating. So the first thing I want to show you is that to level up your characters, you can go to another dungeons, hard or very hard. The problem is that at the higher difficulties, you won't be able to carry a lot of weaker or fodder characters in the back to level up effectively. Note that in this case, in this very hard dungeon, I am bringing 6 fully maxed level 80 characters. If you're attempting to do so in any of these dungeons, you will have to bring 4 strong team characters in the front and carry 2 weak ones in the back. And I wouldn't recommend that for other lands at all. If you're farming materials, because of such new content either in Part 2 Ogre Wars or even Part 1 Ogre Wars, you can carry 2 weak, strong characters in the front and 4 non-leveled characters in the back. So you can see that I'm bringing Tuva and Mighty, and what I'm using is their small AoE attacks. Because between the 2 of them, they clearly can do enough damage, as you can see right there, to clear any weaker mobs. And just make sure you're not farming in an area where there is resistance to some of those elements. Now, if you don't have any small AoE characters like mages, you can use someone like Leclerc's medium AoE like Aiming Flood. Understanding, again, watching for the resistances. The only downside to that is that because the MP use is very high with medium or even large AoEs, you just have to have less battles done before you need to use food or leave the area to come back. Now, for those who haven't finished Part 1, that means hasn't even finished Chapter 25 of the main story, the 2 most popular locations to farm experience would be in Beast King's Castle and Kronos Umbra. Now, there are advantages and disadvantages to each. Beast King Castle comes first, and in my experience, overall gives a little bit more experience per battle. So in this area, if you have 1 level 80 character, 5-star, you can probably clear all the mobs, being that they're in the level 40s, with a single small AoE. As you can clearly see, Tuva wipes them out. And so you can carry anywhere from 4 to 5 unleveled characters, which is quite nice. Now, one downside here is that, again, depending on what kind of materials you need in the Beast King Castle, it may not be very beneficial to you. I also know that some people do use macros to kind of program in back and forth farming. I'm not a big fan of that, only because I just don't use any sort of macros or anything. I do everything by hand, so everything is manual. Now, not all my characters are level 60 or level 80, but I have leveled up all the main characters that I use currently. So, I mean, I don't usually need to level up here. By just running regular quests and other things, I will level up the characters I need. Now, you can see that in this area, the Chimera is resistant to Earth. So, again, keep in mind the resistances, and note that I used a large attack from Mighty to wipe it out. Alright, so again, you can see getting quite a few battles in to level up and get experience. Now, the other popular area before finishing Part 1 is at Kronos Umbra. And actually, when I was first playing the game, I preferred leveling up here. And the main reason why I leveled up here is for one of 2 reasons. First of all, it had, and this is the main reason actually, it had more of the materials I needed for level 44 and 48 armor and weapons. So you can see I warped to this location, and here you can find, of course, the horror that you can fight, to get some of those rarer tier 160 armors and stuff like that. But you can see the Milton was one I was hunting for, because its drops actually helped build some of those end level weapons and armor for me at that time. So if you do have enough materials, then by all means level up in Beast King's Castle, slightly better experience. However, if you don't and you do need the armor and weapons, might as well do two things at one time. And that's what I truly believe in, because I've mentioned in other videos before, most of us do have jobs and other obligations in life. You want to be efficient with your time. And there are some things you can do that take longer, and some things you can save time on. Like even for another dungeons, you can speed through them and speed run it, not collecting everything, not doing all the battles, but you get to the end boss and reap the rewards for that. On the other hand, if that day you have a little bit more time, by all means, fight all 15 mob battles, collect all the treasure chests in another dungeon, and then, get the rewards that way. One other thing I also didn't mention is that when I am doing this, I'm also targeting to build the AF bar as well. Now you can see at the end of Chronos Umbra, I actually had a full AF bar to be stored up. And the reason for that is, as you know, there are many areas like another dungeons as well as some of the tough areas in other lands, anywhere from areas 1 to 4, where you do need a half bar AF so that if you are, finding any shinies, you can wipe them out. Note that if you are bringing weaker characters that are less than half your max, they level up faster. Like you can see when I was leveling up that Rainbow Sister. And of course, the cheat way. Use some scrolls. As you can see, I used a few scrolls, which you get from questing in other lands, and I leveled up AS Saki. Anyways, hope this helps. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.